Okay, so what do you need besides a miracle?
Guns. Lots of guns.
Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to From the Collection, a series of videos where I take movies off of my shelf and I talk about them. Today we are talking about a certified action classic, The Matrix, all the way back from 1999, baby. Before I was even born. That might be a little bit too much information, but anyway, the more you guys know. Now, before I even start talking about the film, let's just talk about this release. This is the 4K Blu-ray, and it is excellent. Without a doubt, the definitive version of this film. Nice little artwork on the front here. All the details on the back. Crack it open. You got the film on 4K. Your standard Blu-ray disc, and your special features disc. Standard stuff. Doesn't really want to close for me. Wow, okay. Yep, that's compelling video making. So, The Matrix. I have an interesting history with this film. The very first time I watched it was for school. I got to study this film for English, and looking back at that, I was so lucky when it came to the films I got to watch in school. Like seriously, I watched The Matrix, I watched Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, I got to see Avatar. I'm trying to think of all of them, like The Shawshank Redemption, I saw Gran Torino, I got to watch Mulan. All these great films, but without a doubt, the best one I got to watch in school was The Matrix. I think that says a lot about this film, actually. The fact that what is basically a high concept action film is considered smart enough and well written enough to be studied in an English class. This was in high school too, man. And, you know, it was a shitty way to watch the film for the first time. I'll admit it was off of a stream, off of one of the school's weird streaming services. Like, it's like, we're talking about a thing where it's like, you know, half the stuff on there has just been recorded off of live TV and put on this streaming server for schools to use. And, you know, it was obviously split up across a couple, maybe even 3 classes. Since then, I've of course gone on to watch it multiple times, and I adore this film. It's a classic for a reason. It doesn't have to be said. And, fun fact, it was filmed in my homeland of Australia, down in Sydney to be specific. About 10 or 12 hours away from me, but anyway, it's close enough to home. God, it's just a thing where it's like, whenever I think about films, so much just goes through my head about what I want to say, where do I even start? First thing I'm going to say is the lobby shootout. I genuinely think that the lobby shootout in The Matrix might just be the best action sequence of all time. Or maybe, okay, definitely the best gunfight of all time. There is an energy and emphasis in that scene that I've never seen it in any other gunfight in cinema. It's this perfect blend of tactical gunfighting with kung fu, basically. I mean, you know, there is that classic bit where Trinity just kicks the shit out of that guy at the end of the fight. And Neo, like, does that weird, like, step up in the air, and he does that cool landing at the end. The music stops, and it's just, oh. But, you know, the music is what really makes that scene for me. I think it's Propellerhead, even the name of the song of the artist. You know, it just starts, and it's just like, doom, 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 doom. And, you know, just the amount of squibs going off, the dust, the debris flying, you know, they're throwing guns away, swapping out. Trinity grabs the shotgun, just starts blasting guys. There's a fun fact behind that scene where I know, you'll know it if you've seen it. There's that outtake where Keanu gets up from behind cover and goes to go around a corner and just completely falls on his face. But, you know, the first half of that that take was still usable, so they just cut before he falls over. It's brilliant. The action is great in this film, it goes without saying. It was revolutionary, and, you know, I think this is one of the films that sort of inspired Hollywood to really get their act together and, you know, make more interesting, compelling action sequences instead of just hide behind cover and shoot. Easy. Run and shoot gun. Easy. You know, this film has everything. It has martial arts, gunfights. What more could you ask for? And, in this series, I've talked about The Crow and Heat, and I've constantly said that one of the things that separates great action films from all-time classic action films is the substance behind the action. There are a lot of great action films with good action. There's no shortage of that. But what really makes a great all-time classic action film is, does it have a good story and concept behind the shooting and the punching? And I think The Matrix is genuinely one of the originators behind that idea. On the surface, you can appreciate this movie as this cool dystopian sci-fi action film, but there's so much that you can dig into and discover in a way that feels like it doesn't impose on the fun of the film in a way that the other Matrix sequels do. And we'll talk about them in a second. But, just this idea of, destiny, what is real, what is in our mind, are we living in a simulation? Not that I believe we are, but it works for Andrew Tate, so, people do buy into that stuff. And, just the smart stuff where, Neo is an anagram for one. There's a lot of little smart details behind this film that, just build it up even further and just give it more and more substance behind the shooting. And of course, the performances in this film. Keanu was made for this role. Keanu, he's one of those rare actors where he has brilliant performances and he has genuinely awful ones. I think you have to give him the right character for him to really thrive. Neo is that character. Very stoic, reserved, almost out of it for half of the time. But, he can be a badass when he wants to be. It's perfect for him. Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity, just a female badass. End of story. And Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, man. Oh, so good. Arguably the best performance in this entire film. He kills it. God, it's just a thing where I get so swept up in this film. Oh, and of course, Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. Incredible. Now, The Matrix, I would consider it one of my favorite films of all time. It's just that perfect example of an action film with substance and ideas behind the shooting and the punching. So much so that you look at Reloaded and Revolutions and you kind of just think, what the fuck happened here? Well, it's easy to understand what happened. They just proceeded to go further and further up their own arse with each film. The later films, Reloaded and I don't think Revolutions has any good action sequences. Reloaded, great action sequences, especially that opening fight, but it's all just muddled and confused by what feels like weightless and just pointless reflection and meditation and philosophical mumblings. The Matrix, one of the things it excels at is it has those ideas in the film, but it doesn't stamp on the basic plot. Reloaded and Revolutions, they get way too focused on the philosophical musings and everything behind the film instead of just making a compelling and entertaining film. I don't really like the sequels. I think Reloaded matches the first film in terms of action, but the story is just awful and strange and weird in a way that just doesn't work. And we don't even have to talk about, what was the new one called? The Matrix Revelations? No. Reloaded? No, it's not that one. I don't even remember. That's how much I liked that movie. I didn't think it was awful, but come on, man, you just didn't have to. But yeah, The Matrix, it revolutionized the game when it came out, and even over 20 years later, it still stands as one of the best films ever made, and certainly one of the best action films ever made. But yeah, those are my quick-ish thoughts on The Matrix. It's a film I love, just want to talk about it. And, now I want to hear you guys talk about it. Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, you've seen The Matrix, but do you like it? Do you like it as much as everyone else does? Or do you actually hate this film? Let me know in the comments below, because if you do hate it, I want to know why. But yeah, that'll do me for today, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video.